watching Weasel News.
Hello, everybody. We're going to go ahead and get started. Again, if you were not here a little bit earlier, we have Ari's Deli outside. We want to thank them for coming out to cater. So feel free to step out and come back in as you see fit. We will try to have a different restaurant cater each month this term for our town halls. So if that's something you're interested as a restaurant owner, or you know somebody that might be interested, feel free to reach out and we will try to make that happen. Just note we have like 3 more town halls this term. So obviously we have a limited number of restaurants that we could have, and we're not opposed to having more. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and get started here. We're gonna go through each government department. We would ask that if you have questions or concerns you want to bring up to a particular department, that you wait until the very end to address that with them. That way we don't have to stop every few minutes and this doesn't go on forever. But we will try to make ample time for everyone to ask questions if they have them. With that, we're going to go ahead and start with the executive. We have Governor Damien Key here to speak on that.
Oh shit, did not mean to get on the table. All right. Hi. To be honest with you, not exactly sure where to start, but we're gonna try and keep it short and sweet. I don't know if this was fully announced in the last meeting, but fuck it, we're just gonna do it live. For those that may not have been aware, our Lieutenant Governor resigned, and we have currently been in interviews and in communications with individuals as we try to fill that role. We recently put up a nomination for Audrey Storm, which was approved by the legislature, but the federal government had since vetoed it. There seemed to be concerns on the federal level in regards to Audrey's ability to handle the job. So we are continuing once more to go back into the searching phase and the communication phase and the interview phase. In regards to Secretary of State, that is still in the same process. However, there is an individual that we are looking to speak more in detail with, hopefully today, and hopefully at that point we'll be able to put up a nomination either today or tomorrow for them. Other than that, bear with us as we mentioned in our press release. A lot of this stuff, it's a lot going on, and we're doing our best to kind of balance and handle all these things. But yeah, we're keeping our heads above water as best we can. I think that's about it.
All right, thank you, Damien. We'll go right ahead and go into the legislature. I'm not going to go fully in depth with all the bills that we have currently, because that would take too long. That's why we have legislative meetings, which are public. Be announcing the next one here soon, since we have a bill to talk about now. We have 4 bills currently pending. We have 3 that are awaiting governor's signature. 2 that will be hitting that 7-day mark tomorrow, which I've reminded Damien about, which is the Freedom of Information Act of 2024, which is HR 317, HR 318, the Controlled Substances Dispensary Act of 2024, HR 319, the Firearm Issuance and Reinstatement Act, and today we had HR 320, the Checkpoint Act of 2024, submitted today. Let's see. Some brief stuff on bills that are upcoming, for myself at least. I wanted to speak with Law Enforcement Command more about their IA processes and if there was any way that we could continue to improve upon those. Those talks have not started yet, haven't been reached out to yet, but it is one of my next projects to speak with them about. Abusive office charges, those are going to be reworked after there were requests from the U.S. Marshal Service, so that will be coming here soon. And then I am in the process of finalizing our mask mandate bill. We're getting a lot of input from both the DOJ, department heads, anyone that this might affect in terms of government. As we've heard a lot from the public already, we're going to do our best to find a lawful constitutional way to make sure that people can wear masks if needed. And that comes with a lot of conversations. So it's been a long time coming. Hopefully we'll have something finalized in the next week. But I am not going to promise anything just yet, as there's a lot of input to get. When that gets put out, feel free to email us, ask us questions about any concerns you have. That is the time to do so. I believe Emily is working on some stuff with Sappher, which you can speak on if you want to, but if there's nothing finalized, don't feel like you have to.
Nothing finalized. And
Okay.
I'm actually working with Staffa, not Sappher. Like,
Oh, I'm sorry.
all the acronyms are similar. That's the
Yeah,
issue.
acronyms are hard, especially when they all start with San Andreas. But anyway, thank you, Emily. I believe Lucas was working also on some traffic code changes that he wanted to put through. Those have not also been finalized, but he's asking for a lot of input. As far as Artemis and Lilith go, I haven't heard too much from them personally, but I know that Lilith is continuing to keep on the treasury, our books and everything, and making sure that those are posted and updated as requested. So there's that. And I know there's been a lot of concern on HR 320 as it's just been introduced. I know that Lucas is not here to address that. I do know some stuff about this bill as it was first pitched to me by a trooper that I will not name at this time. If that's something that they want to, put in the bill or submit to wherever they can. But it was first brought to me by a trooper, and he included some of his command members as just to pitch an idea. I personally expressed my own concerns about it, and at the time I had a lot on my plate, and I was like, I don't know that I could write this for you, so I can encourage you to go to a different state rep. They went to Lucas, and this is what he has put forward. In terms of concerns and stuff that you have with the bill, I encourage you to reach out to him or any other state rep, so that we can take those concerns and take that under consideration. I think at this time, that is all I really have from the legislature. I know there's a lot to go through. You're busy. We're gonna go ahead and move on to the judiciary. If Chief Justice Clarkson wants to speak on that.
We have a bunch of things going on right now in terms of our internal procedures. They're being adjusted in terms of procedures that we've already adjusted. We've already adjusted our warrant procedure. We're also working on some legislation to get written up and passed over to the legislative branch for review. We've also run some numbers and validated that we're continuing to stay far below the Speedy Trial Act of 21 days. I don't believe we've had a case hit STA in a couple of months now. And I think that's all I personally have.
Thank you, Chief Justice. Oh, go ahead,
Hi.
Willow.
I'm Ola. I'm the chief clerk. Let's see here. We hired on a bunch of new clerks, so if anyone needs name changes and adoptions and all that kind of fun stuff, we should have people around all the time. And you can just give us a call, and we try to make court more fun and explain it for people. So yeah, come us call, ask us questions. And,
Go Willow! Woo!
Hi. And yeah, that's all. Woo!
Thank you, Willow, and thank you, Chief Justice. For DOJ, I believe we have Anthony Lankowski here. He is the state attorney.
Oh.
Hi guys, not much from us. We are still hiring for paralegals and prosecutors. Apart from that, we're currently working. Sorry, Danny. We're working on a few programs with the U.S. Marshals Service, together with the legislature, as well as on a rehabilitation program with DHS as an alternative to prosecution. But that's about it from us.
Thank you. PDO, do we have any representatives from PDO that are here?
Yeah.
I volunteer. I'll represent them to do foul. Am I wrong?
All right, we'll go ahead and skip PDO. If you have questions for them, feel free to reach out to them.
Bro, just got skipped.
Law enforcement. I believe we have Chief Julie Lee here from LSPD.
Hello, we have no updates from the PD side at this point.
All right, thank you, Chief Lee. From SAMS, do we have any doctors here? Board members? Okay. If you got questions for them, feel free to reach out to the hospital. Anyone from SAFR? Okay, same deal. DHS, do we have any representatives from DHS?
Ain't that
Okay.
the
I know
place
we're a
that
bit
sells
later.
sofas?
We're a bit later on this town hall,
They've got
so
a
I expected
1 month
somebody
sale
to
on all
not
year
be able to
round.
come.
Joanna, I
Dockle.
have a question. Oh, sorry, never mind.
We're leaving
Okay.
questions to the end, Matt. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Dockle, I see Mr. Wyatt McKenzie here.
I'm Wyatt McKenzie. I am the Assistant Commissioner of DOCL. We just had our town hall for our department last night, but I'll share some of the updates from that for those who could not make it. Currently, we are sitting at 390 licensed businesses. That's actually gone up in the last day or so, with 312 active premises. That is about an increase of 27 new businesses since February 1st and 16 new premises since February 1st as well. Premises continue to be our biggest backlog, so as always, we appreciate everybody's patience and things with getting those processed. We are, that's where I just left, doing interviews for our new trainees. So we should get some new faces in hopefully by the start of the month to help with those DOCL inquiries. We've also introduced a new table of contents section for all of our DOCL documents on our website, so it's a bit easier to navigate things now. It's at the very top. It's just called like table of contents or something like that, but it lists everything in their proper category all there in one place. We are also working to refine our complaints and our auditing processes. I know we've had really sluggish times on those the last forever, so that should be speeding up here the next month or so. And as always, we appreciate everybody's patience there. And then lastly, I guess 2 more things. We are hoping to reopen our restaurants here in the next couple of weeks. We're going to be moving to a process of approving up to 5 a month. More info on that will be out soon. And then lastly, we have come up with some new DOCL Left Beyond Red t-shirts. Those are free for anybody in the public to wear. A bit of a meme because we are sometimes a little hard to get a hold of, but you're welcome to join the meme. So yeah, that is everything I have. If you have questions, please give me a text. I need to run back to an interview, but I appreciate all of your time and have a great rest of your day, okay?
Oh yeah, your t-shirts.
Woo!
Yes, t-shirts, woo.
Thank you, Wyatt.
Always,
Appreciate
you
it.
guys have a great day, okay? Stay safe.
Yep, you too.
Thank you, Wyatt.
Anybody from
Always.
SAFA? That's okay. Let's see here. DOC, anyone from DOC? Okay. And last we got Public Works. We have Erin here. She wanna talk?
Hello, everyone. Erin Murphy, Director of Public Works here. As some of you may have already seen, our new fleet has hit the streets early this month. Public Works retired 7 vehicles and brought in 6 new ones to replace them. This includes both of our tow trucks and several older ones that were becoming increasingly expensive to maintain in our fleet. With these new vehicles, we've actually decreased our overall fleet maintenance budget and are excited for these new tow trucks. Additionally, the team is evaluating significant damage caused by fire and explosions at the former Hayes lot in La Puerta, where Public Works Department still carried out auxiliary operations relating to vehicle impound and repairs for our fleet. At this time, that area has been shut down permanently pending additional repairs. And that's the big stuff I got for Public Works.
Thank you, Erin. I believe that is all the government departments. So then we're going to go ahead and move into our question concerns phase. Matt Murdank, if you'd like to start.
Thank you, Joanna. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
HR 249 states that when stating which state representative is introducing a bill, it shall be an absolute requirement that state representatives disclose who took part in writing or conceptualizing said bill. This includes, but is not limited to, private citizens, government employees, or the department as a whole, businesses, or even their fellow state representatives. HR 320 does not disclose which trooper helped in the drafting of the bill or otherwise conceptualized it. I would like the legislature to disclose who is involved in that process as required by HR 249. Thank you.
Oof.
Oh,
You took my question.
I don't know what you said, but I agree.
All right. Well, thank you, Matt. To address that.
Clapped.
Okay. So from the original email that I got, and this is not to say that they sent Lucas a separate one, or I assume they probably sent the same amount of stuff that they sent me. It was the pitching of the idea. As far as I am aware, looking through Lucas's bill, he wrote the whole thing. I don't know in regards to what input they provided him on the bill, but I can reach out to him and ask for him to disclose that in that section of his bill. It's hard to disclose names or people that were involved when I don't know how far they were involved with Lucas, the author of the bill. But that is something that I will bring up to him.
Thank you, much appreciated. I look forward to seeing an update to comply with the law as required.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Murdank. Anybody else? Mr. McFall, if you'd like to ask a question.
Hello, I'm gonna step in.
Okay, whatever's comfortable.
Right, first off, I've got to start off with this. I wrote it down, I've got a list of questions for you.
Sure.
Starting off, there should be an independent review board for police abuse. People who aren't cops should be able to review cop abuse reports, whether the judiciary or whatever. Yeah, I think that's only fair. Second off, I understand you're busy, dear, but welcome to having a job. Do it. Third off,
my boy,
to be honest, like, just treat civilians better, innit? Like, and I've got a fucking bone to pick with you, dearest Public Works. 20 minutes ago, I put in a fucking request. No cunts about. Next thing I know, you're here chatting away. Yeah? How's that fair? I was stranded. My car was fucked. I had to phone a friend. What do I pay my taxes for? Yeah? And Damien, stop trying to sleep with my daughter. Yeah? I've seen the text messages. Yeah, I'm putting you out. Yeah? Who else do I want to call out? Fuck it. Lady Bishop, you smell.
Okay, Mr. McFall.
I haven't finished. Oh, hello, Maxine.
freedom of speech, freedom of speech.
You're looking lovely today.
Man says peace.
Other than that, yeah, like, sort of, it ain't difficult to run a government. Like, fuck me, I could do it with my eyes closed. No, you're all fucking incompetent, and we all know, everyone knows, that you're all in it for your own personal gain. Yeah? So don't even lie to us. Yeah? You're more reptilian than fucking me. I'm honest with what I am. You are all lie and deceive us and treat us like sheep. Yeah, I just want you all to know that. Right, I want to fuck off and board of this shit.
Okay, thank you, Mr. McFall. I guess to address some of these concerns, in terms of your car, I'm sure Erin could speak more, but I'm pretty sure there's more than just her employed by Public Works. There might have been some other situation they had to attend to. In terms of the legislature and the bill I'm writing to work with police, that is a concern that I've heard from besides yourself, and something I am taking under consideration when going to speak with police on that. I tend to agree with you. I think that there should probably be more people involved with the IA process, but I want to do it in a way where officers are still safe, but still the concerns that are very valid are also addressed. So that will include a lot of conversations with them, which have not started yet, but will be happening soon. Let's see. Well, you mentioned many things all at once. Damien, did you have anything?
Hey man, this is a space to let your voice be heard. I respect you for coming in here and letting your voice be heard. I'll be hunting with you. That's all I really got to say. I respect the fact that.
Yeah, I want to know where these
fucking
checks are
citizen.
going, yeah? Yeah, I know what you're all about, you snakes.
Wait, which checks you talking about? The ones that
I
you
don't
pay
know,
for-
you're all corrupt, so I hate you.
Okay.
Triple the welfare.
In terms of personal
Bring back triple
motivations for
UBI.
being in government,
Big
that's
talk.
up to each person. I won't say that some people don't have those motivations for themselves, and some don't. It's hard to tell with each person. But I understand why you feel that way.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you ever plan to restrict marriages since there's been a major increase of divorces as of late?
Before we move on to the next question, I'd like to just address the public works thing briefly.
Yeah, sure. We
Sorry,
will.
I thought we were still on the same subject.
We'll answer this part of the question, and then we'll move on to your next question, sir. So go ahead, Aaron.
So, Mr. McFall, yeah, we have been hiring more people, and you can ask anybody who's clocked in at a government position who can normally see Public Works clocked on that I am not actually, in fact, clocked on right now. I'm here of my own accord to help provide updates to the public, but we are actively working on finding people to fill positions that have been left vacant after people have been kidnapped and tortured and forced out of their positions out of fear and desire to not be hurt while working for Public Works to help the general public.
Fair enough. That is a very valid response.
Oh, and just to
Can I also
address...
say, you're doing
Oh,
this
go
shit
ahead,
for
Mr.
free,
McFall.
clocked on, girl. Get clocked on. You're doing this shit for free. Fucking hell.
But then I get calls.
Oh, I'm now distracted. My dearest daughter's here. Hello, Samantha.
And
Sorry,
just
I may have
to,
mentioned you in my speech.
briefly address the working, I think the amount of bills that I put forward speaks for itself, so I'll just leave that at that. Okay, to address the restriction on marriages, as far as I'm aware, there's no plans on restricting marriages or how those are done. I'll let the chief clerk and chief justice speak on that, but as far as I'm aware, there's no plans to do that.
No, there's no plans to restrict marriages and divorces. If you want to
We
get
love
married,
love and divorces. Yay.
Amen. All right. Anybody else have another question? Oh, okay.
Bex
Miss Lawson.
Shout News. So this is a bit of a multifaceted question that might require responses from a couple of departments. The executive branch at the end of last term announced that there was a new standard operating procedure negotiated with police that would ensure that people who filed internal affairs reports would receive updates. I'm wondering, one, if the police can confirm that was added to their SOPs, two, if it's actually being done, and three, how that's tracked.
Yes, and it's tracked within our
Jesus,
internal
she took
affairs
the words right out of my
department.
mouth.
We have reached out to every single person that
Crazy.
has put
Crazy.
in
That was
a
my
report.
question.
We've notified them via emails. Every single person has been notified.
And is that tracking monitored by anyone outside of PD?
Negative. It's an internal affairs for reasons. The fact that we are reaching out and letting you guys know that we're working on it is a step forward.
When it
Again,
comes to
it's internal, the word internal affairs, we have compromised, we've worked together with all of you, and that is the compromise we've come to.
when it comes to standard operating procedures, those are completely private for obvious reasons. But I'm wondering, sort of, what actually allows cops to ensure that they're followed? I mean, like, for instance, if I ask a cop for his badge number, are they asked to? Do they have to actually give you their badge number? Is that in the SOPs? And if so, how is that actually enforced across?
It is not in the SOPs. However, we require them to give it a VAST. We would like for them to do so. It is not in the SOPs.
So it's not enforceable.
No.
Okay, any further questions, Miss Lawson?
No.
I was watching a.
Okay, thank you for your questions. Miss Finch.
I have several questions about HR 320. I know you said you can't tell who the trooper is at the moment because you need to speak out to Lucas Evans, but it says that San Andreas Police put this in, and I think at least speaking out loud will get the gears turning and we'll hear something soon. So I have about 6 questions. I would like to go last, so is there anyone else in the room who's going to ask questions to the government?
I think there needs to be a bigger investment into the healthcare system.
We have free healthcare here.
Yeah, I mean, I had a
We
buddy
do
of
have
mine.
free healthcare.
No, yeah, but I had a buddy of mine who unfortunately had a serious car accident where it left both of his legs broken, and they were unable to source him with a wheelchair. So I had to drag his limp body and then get crutches at a shop, which I felt was quite both just embarrassing. It was quite shocking. And I mean, if we don't have these type of resources to help out people in need, I don't understand where this money or investment is going. Thank you.
I don't think it comes down to monetary issues. I think it comes down to staffing. I am not 100% sure because I'm not a doctor and I don't know their internal policies, but as far as I'm aware, there's a certain level or rank within SAMS that you have to be able to issue a wheelchair to somebody. And with the amount of doctors that we've had on hand, which has not been many, that might be more difficult to have at certain points of the day. I know that they're currently working on hiring doctors and nurses and doing their classes and everything. So they are attempting to get staffing for that, but it's not really a monetary issue as far as I'm aware.
Well, not to interrupt or anything, but I'm pretty sure if you need staffing, is that not a monetary issue because you're going to have to fund the people that you're working for you?
It's not a matter of not being able to pay them. It's just keeping people in that job. It's a very difficult job.
Understood.
A lot of schooling and a lot of seeing people at their worst, and sometimes that's not something that people
Would you
can
call it
handle.
negative work environment? Because maybe that's an issue that the senior higher up should deal with, you know?
Then in that case,
Work environment style.
they should definitely be working for a hell of a lot more money.
I can't say really too much as we don't have any representatives from SAMS here, but I imagine it comes down to finding people that enjoy the work. But again, you can feel free to reach out to the hospital to get more information on that. I don't want to speak too much for them when there's a lot that I really don't know.
SAMS has been actively posting hiring ads on why for people. Their applications are open until the 4th, from what I've found.
Thank you. Any other questions before we get to Ms. Finch?
I have one, but I can't raise my hand right now.
That's okay. You can go ahead, sir.
This one's more directed towards the LSPD and law enforcement in general. In the event a civilian happens to be, I don't know, struck by an officer, what would you advise them to do in that current situation?
I reckon he got run over, didn't he?
Well, obviously, to start with, that's an unfortunate, circumstance. I wish for that to never happen. The immediate thing is, there's two ways to look at it. If you're alone, I don't expect you to remember a lot of things, like, at that very moment, right? But if you do have friends, I think it's important to look at the livery of the car, look at the uniform of the person. Hopefully they stopped, and if they didn't, we definitely will have a chat. It's important to note which road you're on as well, and time of day, and most importantly, the livery. Which department struck you, so that we can try and narrow down and sort of speak to them.
Recently put in a 911 as well. That'll help us narrow down exactly which set of units might have struck you. Like if there's a chase that went by, we can easily narrow down, the units that way too.
Fair enough.
Do you have any else on that, sir?
No, that's just what I wanted to hear for now.
Okay, thank you for your question. Mr. Murdink.
Yeah, I have a follow-on. Bex actually asked a great question, and I wasn't sure about the answer that was given by Chief Lee. Chief Lee, could you please clarify? You said that it is required that officers provide their name and badge number, but it's not in the SOPs, but that you'd like them to do so. Could you say which it is? Are they required to do so, or are they not?
Required. I never said it was required. I said I would.
I'm sorry,
like
I
them
heard it
to
was
do
required.
so.
I apologize.
No.
In that
I said
case,
I would
is
like
it
them to.
required or is it not required?
It is not required for them to do so. It is not in the
Okay,
SOP.
so if an officer won't provide their name and badge number in that case, what exactly is the remedy for someone who believes that their rights are being abused by an officer or that they were hit by an officer, and the officer won't provide any information.
Again, like what
True.
Sergeant Bishop has already said, put in a 911, immediately recognize what uniform they're in so we can narrow it down and we can pinpoint and speak to them.
So if it's not required but you would speak to them, can you explain what they would be spoken to about?
What you just said, your example is if you're getting hit, or if it was an accident, whether what happened on scene, we would speak to them about what happened and why they didn't stop. It didn't stop. Things like
Okay,
that.
thank you.
Circumstantial, yeah.
Actually, I have a question real quick on that. If we're supposed to put an IA reports in for people, but we aren't allowed to ask their badge numbers or their names, how are you supposed to put IA reports into police? And if 911 comes and they say that this person, who is a felon, let's say, and they're profiled, how do we know who you guys could believe over?
First off, the IA mandate has changed. Okay, we look into more severe cases. With cases where it's a hit and run, perhaps just a hit, and they didn't stop. Okay, it will be handled at a supervisory level, and then pushed up to command level. We can talk about it more if you guys want us to work on more compromises. We can discuss it. But at this point, what we are doing is addressing and letting you guys know that we are addressing it.
Okay, gentleman that's standing on the table.
Fucking hell, my arm's tired.
Sorry.
Julie, what do you do to plan on stopping the corruption of Ignacio Donoso? Sorry, I feel like I should be standing here. Eye contact.
Oh, hi, is that Mr. Roulette?
Yeah, what's good?
Hello.
I cannot comment on that right now.
Oh, you heard it here first. She's not going to do anything about it.
All right, thank you
They've
for.
shown their true colours.
Yeah, typical cops.
All right, any other questions?
Actually, quick question. Lately, I have heard reports, anecdotal of course, about increase in police brutality and shootings of suspects who are either
And
fleeing
corruption.
or in cuffs. I'm wondering if the department can share whether they have any internal guidelines on appropriate force during confrontations, and if they have any comment on reports of shootings and other unwarranted acts of violence towards suspects.
I mean, I like to hear both sides of the story before I can comment on this, right? Is you just hear one side and just deduce to the fact that there's police brutality. We don't know the entire context of the pursuit, the circumstance, the situation. I'm not going to sit here and go, what about that time I got shot for no reason? You know? So it's the same. So
They should be held accountable. They never do.
But you just stated
But
for
if I
shooting
can
for
be
no
given-
reason.
If I can be
Wait,
given
Danny.
an example, a date and
Wait,
time,
correct.
situation, I'd be happy to sit down and talk about it.
Thank you.
Okay, anyone else besides Miss Finch? All right, gentleman in the back, did you have a question? No, okay. Max, if you want to go ahead.
All right, I have about 6 questions, or at least a collective of questions for HR 230. No, sorry, 320. And this is just going to be asked out loud for whether or not you guys can say anything, for thinking, and also because it said that State San Andreas Police were the one that proposed it with him, so it's a broad comment. So first of all, Section 9 detainment of the bill says when pulling vehicles out over for checkpoints, police must conduct their actions in a timely and reasonable manner. But what is considered a timely and reasonable manner?
I could not speak on that. I'm not Lucas, and I'm not sure what kind of timeline that he was mentioning.
Yeah. It says they can't rush them through each stop. They also can't hold you indefinitely, but that doesn't really have any regulation or guidelines on how long they can hold you. Is a reasonable manner hours? Is it minutes?
I would
Anyway.
imagine it would follow the guidelines for current detainment, which I believe is an hour.
As long as I'm held close, I don't care how long it is.
Oh Jesus, an hour?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that
As
means
far as
they
I'm
can
aware.
hold us. That's crazy. Anyway, next question. It says law enforcement do not have to. Oh, sorry, I already asked that question. My bad. The last part of it says they cannot hold you indefinitely until they gather evidence against you. The phrasing "until" could imply that they're holding people as long as. Oh, I already asked this question. I'm dumb as shit.
You're fine.
Anyway, moving on. The last part of Section 9 states police must have reasonable suspicion that someone is engaged in criminal activity to prolong a traffic stop. But what defines engaged criminal activity? Could officers use gang affiliation as being engaged in criminal activity? All, if not most of the bill is very broad, and because of this, it leaves very many opportunities for unconstitutional searches and profiling. I was wondering if that's going to be addressed or updated.
That is a concern that's been addressed by a few people with the introduction of this bill. I will address that with Lucas. He has reached out to state reps and asked for us to look over it and come to him with any concerns that we might have. So that will probably be done in that email.
I'm just worried because I saw an officer once point a gun at somebody and says, "Why you hang out with them? They're a felon," even though the person was unarmed. Anyway. Number 4. There's also very little regulation and checkpoints themselves in this bill. Are these checks going to be spontaneous, or is it going to be a response to increasing crime charges involving speeding or drug and alcohol consumption?
The way that it was pitched to me, and like I said, this might have been different in the way that was pitched to Lucas, is that because there's been an increase in the use of alcohol and narcotics and people operating vehicles with them under the influence, that is what spurred the introduction of this to state reps. The way it was explained to me is that it would be at random, but again, of course, if officers see something that is reasonably suspicious, they would pull them over like in a regular traffic stop. As far as Lucas's intentions or the actual processes behind this, I'm unsure of. So I can ask him to try and be a little bit more specific in what he's meaning.
Okay. And last question. Also, how often can these checkpoints happen? Can they happen together simultaneously? Could officers block every highway out of San Andreas, out of Los Santos? It doesn't specify anything, and it has no regulations.
I believe there's no current limit on how many of these that can be set up. Again, that's something that can be addressed with them.
Yeah, I'm just worried about this bill because at the moment and how it's written, it's going to allow officers to either profile or possibly profile half the state. And I think people who have served their time don't deserve that disrespect.
Me personally, I tend to agree. But again, I'm not the author of this bill, but all these concerns can be forwarded to Lucas. All
right.
Gentlemen in the gray jean jacket. I'm sorry, Max, was that all your questions?
That's for now, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Gentleman in the gray jean jacket to my right.
I'm Freddie. Just with regards to Section 7 of the checkpoint conditions, it says that the checkpoint should only be used for one or multiple of the following reasons, which are DUI checkpoint, driver's license checkpoint, or searching for a fugitive. Does this mean that if you happen to be driving a unregistered vehicle, that they have no legal cause to cite you for this? Under the checkpoint conditions.
I would assume then it would move to a traffic stop, but again, I'm not really sure at this point.
I don't understand how it could be a traffic stop if it's at a checkpoint, though.
Because that could lead to that naturally if an officer obviously sees any sort of reasonable suspicion or probable cause, like they do with any traffic stop, it would lead to that.
But that would that not be escalating the situation?
Is
it not up to PD to de-escalate the situation?
Well, yes, but also if they see a crime being committed or they suspect one might be committed,
I drove an
they'll
EI, so I'm
reserve the
good.
right to pull somebody over. But I understand that's not articulated very clearly in this bill. That will be addressed.
Okay, thank you.
Gentleman in the blue suit, you've been holding your hand up for a while, I'm sorry.
My question is directed to the police department. Does the police department feel that they are disconnected or connected within the people of Los Santos? And further, and how would you intend to help connect? And how would you intend to help the department be connected within the people?
LSPD as a whole, we come to every single town hall to try and connect with people. We do take your concerns to heart. We also do have a cop program where we try to throw events for the general public. Most recently, you know, our Palentine's event where we get the canine dogs out and about for people to be able to make, you know, bracelets with them, take pictures with them, just interact with the dogs. We
Your
do
dogs
have more
attacked me.
events
Sorry.
planned coming up
Yeah, fuck the
for
dogs.
interacting with the general public.
Fuck
You guys
Luna.
are always welcome to also come up with more ideas too for events as well if you want to. We can always take it more back to our COP program and try to hold those events as well.
Great. I'm going to go ahead and say, in the interest of time, we're going to allow these last two people to answer questions, and then we're going to wrap stuff up. If you have additional concerns or questions, feel free to reach out to the people that are here before they head out, if they have the time to, or send them an email. Gentlemen, oh, sorry, Mr. Roulette, sorry.
Hey up. This whole bill about the traffic stops and all that, or the checkpoints and all that, have you considered the impact on the environment it could cause with all them idling engines and all that shit?
Personally, no, that is not something that came up.
Because, I mean, you know, a car actually produces more, bad chemical or bad shit
Carbon
for the
footprint.
yeah, emissions when it's idling.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
CO2.
Yeah, when it's idling than when it's actually driving.
Yep,
You know?
I mean, that is something to take under
You're killing the
consideration.
planets.
Yeah, think of the trees.
Think of the trees. Think of the pandas.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Roulette.
Think of the turtles.
Miss Finch, did you have a question?
I'm sorry, I was so focused on his answer, I had forgotten it.
It's okay.
But
well,
he does
with
make
that-
a fair point. Not just the environment, but what about traffic backing up? And that could lead to back-to-back all the way down the highway. For example, if they did it in the middle of the highway.
A lot more collisions.
More
a lot
accidents.
Let's
Yeah.
not forget residential areas.
Yeah.
Have you seen the traffic at the hospital? It's ridiculous.
God damn, imagine the police running civilians over.
I also have a question for police.
Deserved.
Are you guys interested in doing more press releases to the public? I know that Berry Hill recently did one for Joshua Evans, but I believe that was because there was more than average appearance of all news companies currently available in the state there. Will you guys do that unprovoked ever?
In the past, we've always reacted and responded to Lethal News reaching out, and we're not opposed to doing that moving forward. As long as you guys reach out, we're more than happy to schedule something.
Can you do it spontaneously when something big happens without us having to reach out? People should be informed about things? Or do we have to reach out every time?
You have to reach out every time. Everyone's schedule is different.
All right. With that, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up. There is still food outside, so if you are still hungry and need something to drink, feel free to ask Ari's Deli before they leave. Thank you, everyone, for coming. And again, if there was a department that wasn't here, or you'd like to follow up on a question that you had, feel free to reach out to that department.
This is attorney Matt Murdank. I'm a partner with the firm Hunt No Hagen. I just wanted to comment today that I found the responses from law enforcement to be extremely disappointing. There seemed to be a real resistance to giving true and full answers to the questions that were posed of them about serious issues like police abuse, internal affairs reports, things of that nature. Personally, the answer that I found most disappointing was Chief Lee's testimony that officers are not required to provide their names and badge numbers under any circumstances, even if they've injured a civilian. That's something I think really should be required. It's something that I would challenge the legislature to take up in a new bill. We've heard a lot recently about police abuse. You've seen a number of cases that have been filed against the department. Some of them have been settled, so it's not necessarily a finding of liability, of course. But personally, I keep hearing from citizens who feel that their rights are being violated or ignored, and some of them don't even feel like filing the IAA paperwork is worth doing because it's just a waste of their time and they never get notified about what happens. And in any case, you never know what ultimately gets done on the police side of things to, improve these processes. Over and over again, all they see is that their friends get injured, perhaps even killed, as allegedly happened in the case of several recent interactions with the police. And it's just really disappointing that the police are not interested in being more involved. In particular, I want to note that they stated that they don't intend to release press releases spontaneously. They said that their only plan to do so is if they're reached out to by the news associations, and furthermore that they have an event every now and then for community engagement but they're not holding anything like their own town halls or doing any outreach to the public to try to get input on these issues and how they can best be resolved. I'd like to see more work done on this front. I believe that the public should still continue to stand up for their rights. And if you believe that you've been abused by an officer, please feel free to reach out to me via email on the government website. Again, my name is Matt Murdank, and with the firm Hunt O'Hagan, we'd be happy to help you explore your options under the law. Stay strong, exercise your constitutional rights, and don't talk to the cops.